live here. If I am live, I wonder if someone could let me know in the comments if I'm live. Let's just see if I'm live here. Yes, this is what happens when you try something for the first time.
Exactly, yeah.
Yeah, just need to make sure that I'm live.
You look alike to me, sir.
I look alike to you? Okay, great stuff. Let's just see. Let's just see if I'm going live here.
Is this a one-to-one thing?
Yes, I don't want to be talking to myself here. Let's see. All right, let's just see if I'm live here on Facebook, because I should have some comments here of people. I can't see anything at the moment. This is what happens when you try something for the first time.
Absolutely, man. Yeah.
Let's just see if I am going live to Facebook.
You are.
Hey?
I can see you, sir. You are.
Can you see me live on Facebook?
I can see on Facebook, man.
Well, I don't know. I should be on YouTube as well, so I'm not too sure. But you can see me on Facebook.
Gillian Rowe and Jill Raj.
Can you see me live on Facebook? Okay, great stuff. All right, that's good. That's good. This is the first time we're holding the show, so we're using a brand new software. So it's okay. Right. Okay, Steve, turn your volume off there. We're good. We're good to go.
Yeah.
All right then. So I just want to make sure that we can go live onto YouTube as well. So we're on. It says I'm online on YouTube here as well, but I can't really see anything on YouTube. But hey, we're just gonna have to go with where we are. Technology, eh? Technology. I mean, I think technology is absolutely wonderful, but yeah, sometimes it does kind of let us down. But we'll get the hang of it as we go on. Good evening, everyone. I know you can see me on Facebook. I am not sure if you can see me on YouTube at the moment. I have been using a software to see me on YouTube, but I don't know. Let me just see if someone can. Let me see if someone can see me on YouTube, and we'll start here. This is a really great software. Okay, good evening, everyone. Welcome to Make Health Your Habit live podcast. This is something I've wanted to do for an incredibly long time. Health for me is something that is so important. I truly believe it, and especially in this time what we're in. I think the coronavirus pandemic has really shown us how important it is to be of good health, because all too often we're hearing about people getting sick and suffering the negative impacts of the coronavirus, and unfortunately even going the other way and passing away. So as I said in part of my marketing, I think our health aspirations need to be just as big as our wealth aspirations. And you know, the irony is, if you don't have good health, it doesn't matter how much wealth you have, you can't really enjoy it. So I really wanted to put this show together. There was a slight little bit of procrastination, like it does happen sometimes, but you know, I finally got here. We're here now, and this show will be going on every single week. I will be putting the show on every single week. So let me just see if we're going on YouTube. I'm not too sure if we're on YouTube, but anyway, if we're not, then I'll have to make sure we're sorting out for YouTube next week. The technical issues will not stop the show going on. Anyway, my name's Ken Barnes. I'm the L.E.A.N MindBody Coach. Some of you have seen my journey. I have had a real journey when it comes to health and understanding what health is, especially my weight. You know, we're exposed to the common narrative about how to lose weight and how to look after ourselves. But unfortunately, my experience and my knowledge has told me that many of the concepts we have heard are not true, or at least not as effective as they should be. And over the coming weeks and months, I want to interview some people on here who will hopefully shed some light on the different ways that you can make yourself healthy, you can improve your life and lose weight and just generally feel good about yourself. Now, for me, my personal journey started. I'm going to just show you how I looked. You're going to see a short video here, just basically my transformation. That was really, and my transformation brought me through an enlightened place. So it's not the prettiest picture, but that was me, and it was incredible. And I was over 50 years old, and it's for me, it was something which I thought, wow, I'm over 50. Is it too late for me to transform my body? But it wasn't. When I was doing the right kind of methodology, I was able to really, really transform my body and look younger and feel stronger. And this is what I want to help you do over the next coming weeks and months through what I'm going to share with you, not just today, but with the guests over the next few weeks. And talking about guests, I'm really, really excited to have a gentleman I've known for a long time. I'm really, really interested in his story, and I know he's got some real nuggets to share with us. We're going to be talking about behavior change and mindset. There are so many people who focus on, the eating, the exercising, but they don't focus on the mindset needed to maintain and sustain that. And me and Steve are going to be knocking heads on that. So without further ado, let me introduce Mr. Orange. Good evening, Mr. Orange. Yeah. Yeah. So Steve, I have a real question for you. The orange, Tell us a little bit about the orange and where that came into it. How did the orange concept come together? I mean, that's absolutely great, Steve. Let me just firstly apologize to anybody who may be on YouTube at the moment who is not getting access to this. As I said, it's the first time we're putting this together, and the system's supposed to have streamed out to both platforms, but it's seemingly only streaming out to Facebook at the moment. But we will get that right next time for all of you. So, Steve, just tell me just a little bit about you and your journey as a speaker and a trainer. I think that deserves a little horn there. Let me get that little horn there. Yeah. I mean, that deserves a little horn there. Yeah, Steve, I've watched your journey over the years, and I have to. I'm really impressed at the diversity of your portfolio, because not only do you help to encourage and inspire the minds of young people, you work with adults, you work internationally, and your presentations just seem to have so much energy in them. So you've really come a long way, and I've really been impressed with your growth and how you've just continued to move forward. The question I just want to ask you now, because let's just deal with the issue around behavior, because this is where you focus on, because you're in the corporate arena, you're also in the schools. So we can talk as much as we want. Yeah, we can talk about change, we can read all the books, but it's the action that is the issue. And invariably, as a health coach, I've seen so many clients who have the will. They really, really want to lose weight or become healthy. They don't necessarily have the way. And even when they're exposed to the way, they sometimes reject it because, as far as I'm concerned, it doesn't sit well with the narrative that they've heard in the past. And then there are some people who may even know the way, but don't have the will. So, in your experience, what has been some of the stumbling blocks that people have had to experience or overcome to be able to change their behaviors and their actions?
Yeah, and it's a good question. Really, it starts with your why. And I heard you mention.
Mm. 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 So just to be clear, so I mean, I know we're really on the same page here. We're both on the screen now. We're really on the same page because I'm so passionate about this. So before even people work out their goal, their health goal, are you saying that the first thing they should focus on is their why? Mm. Absolutely. Mm. Mm-hmm. Mm. I think this is so important, and there may be people listening, watching, who think this is so rudimentary, but it's fundamental. It's fundamental, and I'm so pleased that you touched on that because I actually I'm going to show you my why. And it's a why that has kept me going through so many of the challenges I've had, but especially my weight loss journey in my later years. And this is my why. It is my why. This is my why. My two children. For me, you know, I don't mind saying I am 57 years old this year. Now, you know, when I was 16, 17, we thought 57 was old. We thought that was the time you're rocking around the chair. But, you know, nowadays, it's not old. And I want to be around for my children as long as I can and around for my grandchildren. And that why has been such a strong driving force. So, you know, I totally concur with what you're saying. And unfortunately, as we know already, too often people don't realize, recognize, appreciate, or take their why seriously until it's life threatening, until it gets to a point until they can't go no more. If you don't do this, you will. And then all of a sudden, their why comes in front of them. Why do you think it is that people just seem to just often wait until the last moment until they recognize their why and it motivates them? Why do you think that is? Mm, okay. Mm, mm-hmm, mm. Have you got just a tip for people, because there are whys and there are whys. You know, if you were to summarize the kind of why that people watching this podcast would need to create, because you know they may be struggling. You know, they maybe really want to change their health, to lose weight, and they just haven't got the motivation, and they recognize the importance of a why through it. Saying, have you got a tip for them, the kind of why that they need to create that will be continually motivating for them? Hmm. Hmm. Could you lift up just lift up a little bit higher in the camera? Okay, let's move it just a little way this way. That's good. That's good. We can see that now. Fantastic. Yeah. Okay. 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 And that is the weight, and is that's the weight you want to achieve by the end of the month? Okay, great. Okay. Mhm. Okay. Yeah. Yeah. Mhm. Mhm. Yeah. Mhm. Yes. Yeah. Yeah. Yes, I did. Oh, I can't remember. I countless numbers of times. Mm. Yeah. I put on. It, do you know, Steve? You mentioned a word that I want to move on to, but I kind of summarize a why. Just to add to what you're saying, I think that's fantastic, and I think writing something down and visualizing it is a wonderful way to reinforce it into your subconscious. Um, you know, I sometimes simply kind of say your why should make you cry. Your why should be something that is emotional, and because we sometimes when things are emotional, we don't always need that motivation. But when you think about it, it really, really makes you emotional. Now, look, let's look at the time we're in. We're in a series. We're in a time, an unprecedented time, whereby the coronavirus is. We thought it was kind of going away, but we're now seemingly back in a second wave. We're looking to be in more lockdown measures shortly, possibly even tomorrow. Boris Johnson may announce some lockdown measures. There are people who are living with their families, but there are also people who are living in isolation. They're living by themselves, and for them, they're just about survival. It's just I just want to survive this period. And often survival means just thinking about that, and fitness and health doesn't come into it. Um, for those people who have gone through the lockdown, and as far as they're concerned, they survived it, not just physically but mentally, and now who are fearful about going into something similar. you know What would you say to those people when it comes to them, although they are in a lockdown, that they need to focus on, creating an environment which doesn't make their mental and physical health decline? What would you say to those people? Okay. They can't hear us. Yeah. Okay, can they hear us now? Let's see if they can hear us now. Can they hear us now? Can they hear it now?
Let me see if I can get hold of Tony, because Tony just called me. I think he hasn't heard me. Hold on.
Yeah. This is technology.
This is technology.
That's all right. We'll just run with it. We'll see what happens.
Yeah. Just calling him now. Hey, bro, can you hear us? Can you hear us?
Yeah, now I can.
You can now, yeah?
Okay.
Well, let me go back there.
Wait, on the Facebook. One minute, Ken. 1 minute. Go on the Facebook. See if you can hear us.
Yeah, let me just where you go? Let me just go down. Oh, yeah, let me just.
He's just checking, Ken. This is technology for you.
Yeah, well.
I can only hear Ken.
You can only
You
hear
can hear,
Ken.
but you can hear me now, though. You should be able to hear me now.
So
Yeah?
you can hear me, but not Ken.
On my phone.
Yeah.
Right, talk, Steve. Just
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah.
Yeah, can you hear me as well?
Can you hear both of us? I think Janet says she can hear us. Can you hear us both now?
I tell you what, put your hand up into this. 1 second. Steve, put your hand up. Let me see your mouth move.
Yeah. Hear me?
All right, okay.
Can you hear me?
No, bro, I can't hear you.
You can't hear me. You can't hear me, Ken.
You can't hear me. Well,
He can hear you.
Okay. Let me see. I can hear you now. I think I got you now.
You got me now,
okay.
yeah?
Yeah.
All right.
Can you phone? Yeah, I can hear you, Ken. Yeah, I can hear you, Ken.
That's
Can you hear
good.
both
All
of us?
right. Yeah, you can hear. I hope you can hear both of us now.
I'm going to
Look.
go off now, Ken. Yeah?
Keep your WhatsApp on.
Okay. Yeah.
Yeah.
Thank you very much. He's going to keep the contact. Thank you. Yes.
All right. All right. So look. So let's just backtrack a little bit. So this is the first Make Health Your Habit podcast live. I'm using a fantastic system. Myself and Steve tested out this system rigorously, and it worked absolutely fine. But as happens, technology has failed us. But we will get it right, and next week it'll be working properly. There should even be comments coming in, and I can't even see the comments coming in. I really am not sure what's happening, but we will get that.
Check us on Facebook. Yeah, check on Facebook. And can you see Janet Harris is sending in loads of messages? I think we're not being heard. I think
We're still not being heard at all.
can you hear? It's Janet's having jokes with us, man.
They are, isn't it? It must be. Yeah, it must be having a little bit of a laugh. But hey, what can I say? I can't see.
It's got to keep going. Yeah.
Well, look, Steve. I'm sure that there's going to be a recording. Let's talk. Let's have a conversation. Let's continue with the conversation, and whatever happens, we'll go back again. But yeah, technology. So as you were saying, what would you say to those individuals who are, in the lockdown, feeling all I want to do is survive this, and they don't see health as an important aspect for them to focus on?
Right. Well, first of all, what I'd say is that for anyone at all at home, they need to develop a structure. Right, now we're being heard. And we're being heard.
Great stuff.
Yeah, they can hear us. Yeah, you have to develop a structure. And what I mean by that is that you have to, just like you're at work, you have to create a structure in your life. If you don't have a goal, what happens is that you then drift. And what I mean by goals, not so much setting targets to achieve, but just saying, this is what I'm going to do today. This is what I'm going to do this week. This is what I'm going to do in the first hour. But it's so important you set a structure for your days, from Monday to Friday. Now, they could be structures of you going for a walk, it could for you watching certain TV. You have to create a structure, Ken, because otherwise you'll drift. And this is why you have timetables at work. This is why you're given tea breaks. This is why you're able to set certain targets and goals, because you have to create a structure. So first thing you must do, you must start from 9 till 12. What's your aim, your goals? One of the things I often say is no social media between 9 and 12. Set targets of stuff that you want to do. It could be reading, it could be audiobooks, it could be going online, learning new things. Between 9 and 12, shut down all social media and create a learning for yourself. Why am I asking you to do this? Because as soon as social media and radio and TV get involved, what happens is that you're curtailed, your focus goes somewhere else. Do you see what I mean? After 12 o'clock, I often say maybe an hour, listen to a bit of news, find out what's going on. And then after that hour, get back into that from 2 o'clock to 4 o'clock, your time. So it's like you are working, but you must have discipline to do this, Ken. If you don't, what happens is you drift. And when you start drifting, that's when you become vulnerable. And when you become vulnerable, dare I say, eating, watching stuff which is extremely negative is going to hold you down, and you just not want to do anything at all. So creating a structure has to come first. Structures are what life's made of. We know we have to do certain things at certain times when we're working. It shouldn't change when it's at home. It shouldn't change. That's the problem. Yeah.
When it comes to people's eating habits, I recently wrote a blog post. It was over the weekend. It was about emotional eating. And I think this is a factor that has affected many people especially over the COVID period. I mean, I'm an avid gym user. And there were people who came to the gym after the lockdown and they were unrecognizable. And, some of them just said, Ken, I just want to survive. And it was just, I just ate. It was just comfort food. And that just really, really kept me going. And I have to admit, I, at times, in the past have suffered from emotional eating. In fact, now, if I have a really, really, really kind of stressful day, I am inclined to eat a little bit more chocolate than I should do. And I'm going to admit that. That I'm inclined to eat a little bit more chocolate than I should do. So it's all about changing your mindset at that point.
Absolutely.
You're feeling stressed, you're feeling tired, and what advice would you give to these people? So when they get to a point where they walk into the shop and they feel that piece of chocolate calling them, or they walk into the cake shop and they see that cake with their name on it, and they know they shouldn't be eating it, but they just think, I just want something sweet. What advice would you give to those people at those moments?
We've got to be frank and honest here. We're human beings and we're emotional creatures. I ain't going to say to you, don't pick it up, because listen, as a saying, and I've read it years ago, is whether you're right or whether you're wrong, you're definitely right. So if you have to pick up that chocolate, pick it up. But let me explain something I used to do to lose weight. I would buy the chocolate and then I would convince myself I didn't want it. And you know what? Before I got home, I threw it away. Now, it sounds really weird, but the idea is to give in to your feeling because it's so strong. You've got the chocolate, all right? But then you've got to be strong enough to say at that point, now often it's difficult because it's in your hand, but you have to say, do you know what? I need it. I need to let it go. Now, there's the point where change occurs. Because if you do it once, it becomes, dare I use the word, a habit. Because you're able to say, do you know what? I can override what I'm going to do. So I've done it before. Where I wanted those packets. I wanted to make a crisp sandwich. This was only, 2 months ago. Bought the pack of crisps, had the pack of crisps in my hand, and I had it on my desk. And it's really funny because once you buy it, don't eat it. I know it's very difficult, but you've got it. So sometimes at a point you've met your satisfaction because you have it in your hand. Bought it, I've done it, man. Yeah. Eating it is another stage, because that's when you've got to kind of open up. That's the point. If you're able to, and I've done it before, I threw the crisps away, a pack of crisps, I threw them away. And the feeling I got was that overriding feeling that I'm in control here. Now, I'm not going to give you a magic remedy to say that you can override that pang, that feeling, because that's what's come to you naturally. But this is where we go back to our why. Because if you say to yourself, you know what, I'm going to have it once, and that's the only one. And if you can do that, fine. But if you know deep down inside you're going to fight with that, by all means buy it, but don't eat it. And that's just going to sound really counterintuitive. You're going to say, well, Steve, man, no. I spent up my big money, I'm going to eat it.
No, I love it. I'm going to tell you, I'm going to comment on that when you're finished. I love what you just said there. It's fantastic.
Because when you've done that, the power you will have will be unmatchable, because you will have then said, yeah, I bought into you, me buying it, but you know what? I ain't going to eat it. I'm actually going to throw it away.
Do you know, I love what you just said there. And, you know, part of the strategy that I give some of my clients is this, is, you know, if you have those treats and you know you're weak, either don't have them in your house, but some people, they can't avoid having it in the house. Possibly they live with other people who enjoy them. Not everyone's on the same journey. So a way I sometimes tell people to be able to wean themselves is, let's say, for example, you like chocolate and the chocolate has 4 lamps on it. Buy the chocolate, but eat it, but don't eat the last piece. Eat 3 bars, and if there's 1 bar left, don't eat the last bar. Throw that last bar away. And then the next couple of times you eat 2 bars and then throw the 2 bars away. And then you eat 1 bar and then throw the 3 away. And then you eat only 1 bar again, throw it away. And all of a sudden you're slowly weaning yourself off. Because, you know, habits and the way we do things are ingrained in us. And not everybody's as disciplined as possibly myself or you. I wouldn't even say I'm disciplined sometimes, but, you know, I'm just being honest. I've just got to be real here. I mean, I know I lost over 50 pounds in 6 months, but there were times when I struggled. And I used this strategy by just weaning myself off slowly. And then I got to the point where I bought it and I left it and I looked at it and I could just walk past it. And I don't know how you feel about that strategy, Steve.
That's true. And if I could show you one of my tips, actually, that I wanted to give to the rest of you guys out there, and for me it worked. I love muesli, big muesli fan, and so what would happen, I would mix up muesli in my bowl, and I'd fill this bowl, man, fill the bowl, and I'd think, well, it's healthy, isn't it? But do you know what, I was eating too much because of the bowl. I then thought to myself, similar to your approach, get rid of this.
Okay.
I got this bowl, obviously orange, smaller, look, smaller. Now, I was still eating the muesli, but because the bowl was only allowing me to have a certain amount, I ate what was in the bowl. This is progressively. This is now the bowl I now eat with each morning.
So you just reduce the size of the bowl.
It's the size of the bowl.
Okay.
And it's and the thing is, I mean, this is. Can you see?
Yeah.
And you know, I've lost weight in myself. You know, and I feel very, very good about where I am. I'd like to be a little less, but it's because of the practicalities around me, allowing me only a certain amount. And then what happened? It changed the way I was as an eater when I was eating food to literally getting used to. Now I barely fill this up now, Ken. Barely fill it up whenever I. So that's one of the strategies I'd like to really share with you guys. And another thing, if I can just share with you, I use this bowl now. Put fruit in. So I have this bowl, and this bowl dotted around the house with grapes, bananas, mate. honestly, you think I'd just rob a groceries, man, because these bowls are literally all over. And what it helps me to do, what I do at the bowls that have fruit, it's changing habitual behavior. And that's what this does for me. And do you know what? It's a progressive thing. It's a progressive thing. I think if you think you're going to lose X amount, you would know better than me. You know, you reduce your eating and you might lose a couple of pounds maybe the first week, and then you build up this momentum, and then all of a sudden, a couple of weeks down the line, you feel like you've not lost anything, or maybe you seem like you put on more. So this doesn't happen overnight. The practicalities, I think, like the bowl eating, can make such a massive difference. You know, so that in itself for steps, just through habits. So this is a habit we're talking about here. Through habits can help you reduce the amount of food that you actually require. Yeah, and it's practical, very practical, and hopefully that as a technique is worked for me, and I believe it can work. It definitely can.
You know, Steve, this has been such a kind of a journey for me today. This podcast has been a real learning journey for me, and it has been. And as you can see, the green screen's gone at the back now. You know, the green screen's actually gone at the back now. This is wonderful. Yeah, but I think part of anyone's journey is recognizing that they have to grow and learn on that journey, and recognizing that change really, really, really needs to happen. And for me, there are so many challenges that we face during this coronavirus times.
Absolutely.
People losing their jobs, you know, and there are so many challenges that are outside of our control. But the one thing that is inside our control is how we manage our health. Because our health is it's a proactive, protective measure against so many illnesses. And, you know, I often talk about proactive or reactive health. There are people who are reactive, so they only work on their health when something goes wrong. But I believe in proactive health. I believe in people doing things to make themselves healthy, which then protects them against the vagrancies of life. And I really just want to give some quick fire tips now with some that people can use to be able to take some steps today. Yeah.
Right.
And especially over the period coming back, to be able to, you know, create some healthy lifestyle habits or change the way they've been doing what they've been doing.
Okay. As you make the challenges you have is like, and it's about adjusting to life. So I wouldn't even worry about that, sir. But with the tips, it's very important. The first thing is find your why. Now, I know it sounds very big and very grandeur, but even if it's, well, I just want to lose at least 3 pounds. So when I look in the mirror, I feel good. There's your why. All right. I'd like it to be stronger, but you've got to look to try to expand that why a little bit more. Get that outfit, which is a size too small. Yeah. Give it a try. Because these are physical things. That's your first thing. Okay. Second thing is, guys, I want you to start looking at what you're eating off of. What's going on? Big is actually the plate you're using in order to eat your food. Because how many times do you feel you have to finish everything on your plate? When I was younger, that's the first thing someone said to me. You make sure you eat everything on the plate. If your plate's this big, you're going to be eating a lot. So that's the next thing. The good food chart. Yeah. What I want you doing is start setting a chart, make it physical, pin it up. So when you see it first thing in the morning, you've written down what you would like to do. Do you know what happens subconsciously? Your brain says, wow, you're taking this seriously, because you pinned a note up there to tell me that you want to learn or lose X amount of weight. These are physical things, because when your brain starts recognizing that you are making an effort to lose weight or to change the way you're living, all of a sudden it becomes a stronger why. The next thing, guys, is a poster. Let me explain by that. I often have just a poster talking about, or just writing tips about how good you are. This is about self-love, about gratification. What are you happy for? What are you pleased about? Your kids, your life, being able to get up and gratitude chart. Why? Because sometimes when things are not going well, you think, oh, what the hell is it? What's the point? But that gratitude chart for me, I'd have my partners up there, my flat, my kids, the health of my kids. That's very important to me because then I realize when things are not going right, I still glance at it and think, do you know what? At least I've got those things, those 4, those 5 things. Okay. Next thing is very important to start. And last thing is to set a target the day before you start your day. What was it? Jim Rohn says, don't start your day until you finish it. So we're at 7 o'clock now. What I'd like you guys to do is to make a list of what you're going to be eating tomorrow. Now, you might be thinking, Steve, I don't even know what I'm eating tomorrow. That's part of the problem, isn't it? Because when you're not, I think it was Simon Sinek says, when you're not clear on your destination, when you're clear on your destination, you could be flexible on your route. So I think making a note, what are you going to eat tomorrow? Have an idea when you're going to eat tomorrow. This might sound regimental, but you have to put things in place for things to change. And if habits do not see structure, I believe your habits will default to what it feels comfortable with, which is that 90%. So there's a lot on board there, I know, but you have to create a structure. Even if it doesn't come into play straight away tomorrow, start on it now, because if you don't, you will drift. And we've got to pull ourselves in order to find out exactly where we're going. And those tips, I believe, will help you.
That's some fantastic tips there, Steve. I'd like to leave the viewers with just a couple of tips that I've used over the time. And the first thing is what I stand for. Sugar is a carcinogenic food. It's so bad for you in so many ways. High blood sugar affects us in so many ways, and we gain weight not through. It's a hormonal issue. While we're going, and in the future episodes, I'll go into why we gain weight and everything else. But a simple tip would be to give up sugar. It will improve your health exponentially if you give up sugar. And the irony is that we're not just talking about table sugar. We're talking about rice, pasta, potato. At least reduce it, because when you eat these foods, they turn into a form of sugar called glucose in your body. This is just, if you just reduce the amount of refined carbohydrates in your diet, not only will you...
By how much, Ken, do you reckon?
Well, I mean, for me, there are various levels that I talk about in my program. People talk about 20 grams of carbs, of net carbs, 50 grams. Look, on average, we eat about 325 grams of carbs a day. If you just reduce that to 150 or even 200, you're going to be doing your body a massive favor. I mean, I don't say to everyone to start in a draconian way and cut everything out. If you want to do that, that's great. But just start by eating at least one meal a day without any form of refined carbohydrates at all. If you take sugar in your coffee, reduce that sugar in your coffee. Reduce it by 1 spoon. Reduce it by another spoon. And just gradually, and once you start to feel the benefits, you will see exactly how sugar has been affecting your body. I mean, I have to say, when I started my journey, I was reluctant to eat many of the foods that I now advocate, because it was counter to the narrative that I had learned. But Steve, I will tell you, the weight dropped off. I mean, I'm still surprised now how quickly the weight dropped off. And I think that we need to understand why we get fat, and I'm going to speak about that in a moment. So this is just the one health tip I will tell everyone watching this: just reduce the amount of refined carbohydrates that you have. And also, to go back to what's... Pardon?
Is it good to start with tea? Do you recommend they should start with reducing the sugar in tea?
Well, reducing sugar in whatever they have. If you have tea, if you have coffee, just reduce the sugar. Or you can use alternative sugars, like sugar alcohol, like stevia, like erythritol. You can use something that doesn't raise your blood sugar. I don't want to get too technical now over I'm actually holding a webinar, which I'm going to talk about in a moment, which I'm going to explain exactly why we put on weight and exactly why what I'm talking about is so important. And especially in these coronavirus times when we recognize where studies have shown that people who have high blood sugar, who have diabetes or are overweight are far more susceptible to the negative impacts of the coronavirus. It's so important. And Steve, let's be honest, we're in our 50s. I think you're in your 50s as well, yeah? You're in your... Are you? No? Okay, are you getting close there? Okay. Well, look, there are many people possibly watching that in their 50s, and the weight just creeps on. We wake up one morning, oh, where did that come from? Where did that stomach come from? And unfortunately, when we look around, there are so many people who that's happening to, and that creates a kind of social contagion where it becomes acceptable. For me, that's not the way it should be, because when you walk into a doctor without him taking or her taking your blood test, the biggest indicator of your health is your size of your stomach. That is because around your stomach, this is where you develop what's called visceral fat. It suffocates your organs. And that's why if you look at, there are a lot of people who have a very kind of flat chest and then their stomach just pokes out and it's quite hard. That's visceral fat. That is dangerous fat. So, and you can reduce that by reducing the sugar and refined carbohydrates that you eat. And with that being said, I just want to let people know about this, what I'm holding on the 4th of October. And it's a webinar called Don't Blame the Butter for What the Bread Did. It's a webinar that is going to really challenge some of the narratives that people are hearing about the best way to lose weight and be healthy. I've held this webinar about 2-3 years ago, but it's now, and it went down really well. It's going to be updated. I'm going to really peel the layers back so people can really understand some of the 3 biggest mistakes people are making when it comes to their weight loss, how they can turn the clock back and look younger, why we put on weight, and how people are waking up to what I call the big fat lie. And the way people can actually register for the website, if they go to my website, they can see the L.E.A.N MindBodyCoach.com there. But look, if they go to the website and they see, they can register at www.L.E.A.N MindBodyCoach.com, and they will be able to register for the webinar, and they'll be able to get sent out the link for the webinar happening on the 4th of October at 2 p.m. So please go to my website and register. It is going to be worth every single minute of it. Now, I do want to do something here. The system hasn't worked well, but I'm one for taking it in my stride.
Absolutely.
We've done so many things, and and we plan, and it doesn't go well. But everything's a learning experience, and I've definitely learned here. And I'll be back again next week. I have my guest is going to be Sal from the Headbangers Kitchen. He has about 500,000 YouTube followers. He's very, very big when it comes to low carb, and he comes from India. And it will be really interesting talking with Sal about low carb, sugar reduction in India, and how it's impacting the individuals there. So I'll be talking with him next week. So, but with regard to this, there should have been some comments coming in. For some reason, it hasn't come in, I'll just admit. But on Facebook, I know there are a few people commenting in some ways. You mentioned your why. You mentioned the why, Steve, and I think that's an incredibly important thing. So this is what I'm going to say. I have 3-month membership to my tribe platform. This is a tribe. I call it Weight Loss Made Simple. It's a membership platform. It's phenomenal. It has so much information on there. It has a community which you can engage in and ask questions. I'm so pleased with what Tribe is about and how Tribe is developing and how I'm inputting information into Tribe. So this is what I want to do. Is you spoke about your why, Steve. I'm going to look at Facebook at some point tonight, and if there are only 3 people, then there are only 3 people. But if there are more than 3 people, then I'll just kind of do a raffle. And they can write their why. If they can write their why of why they feel they need to be healthy and stay healthy. It doesn't have to be big, just their why. And if there are only 3 people, I will take those 3 people and I will give them a free membership to Tribe. It's £100. This is a value of £100 each, and I'll give them a 3 months membership to Tribe, absolutely free. So you're watching this on Facebook. I know YouTube hasn't gone the way it should do, but just make a comment under this video, and I will send you. I will do a little, if there are more than 3 people, do a little draw, and I'll give you 3 months membership to Tribe. So that's what I'll do. Steve.
Yes.
How do people reach you, Steve? How can people reach you?
Quite easily. www.orangeonlinelearning.com. Since the lockdown, I've just kind of moved everything from being on stage to being online. I've done so much Zoom work, and I just realized that people, if they want to get hold of me, it's about looking at what they can do and find out about me online. Simply just go to the website, look at courses, and I do an online course where you download it and it's just me on a platform, and you could just watch the videos as a series of videos and then learning videos. And I offer a 2-hour coaching session after the actual program. What does it do for teenagers, for individuals, and for businesses? Have a look at it. Basically, it's helping teenagers. If you've got a teenage son or daughter that is struggling with confidence, it's literally a PowerPoint show. Now, we're very visual creatures, so you'll watch the video, the questions, there's options you can take, etc., and multiple choices. I love it. It's just quizzes, and it's a fun game. There's the program for adults as well, where they just look to find out where they are at the moment. And again, it's the same kind of thing, PowerPoint driven. You could just watch me, turn me off, watch me, and everyone. And I've got them for business as well, helping employees to help themselves. So that's what I developed over the lockdown period. Also, you can get me on Facebook, speakeroftheorangetide.com. It's all about, as you pointed out, Ken, for people realizing that there are people out there that are doing things to try to help other people to help themselves. And that's really what I've always been about. That's what these videos have always been about. That's what me and you are all about. So make the most of it, enjoy it. On YouTube, just type in Orange Online Learning. Again, a plethora of videos. All the videos you see on Facebook, I've got them all packaged up so you can watch those as well. And obviously it's free because it's on YouTube. So learning is, like, for me, the only way to move forward, learning and application. So, and I just appreciate you giving me the time for this platform, Ken. And listen, mate, everything that happens, and you're going to be as smooth as you know what next week. And, that's what it's all about, sir. And I didn't mind being like the test guinea pig. I think I come through
Steve, I think that deserves a little, we'll give it a little bit. Steve, look, life is a journey, and invariably, things go wrong. We've tried to work with it, and I think we've worked with it. I mean, I've had fun, and I'll just say to anybody watching this, I asked Steve, how long ago did I ask you about this, Steve? I'm just going to be honest here. How long? I asked you a while ago.
2 years ago.
A while ago.
It was a while ago.
And I procrastinated so much because live video, as you can see, it goes wrong. And what do? You can't edit it out. And this is so. If you're watching this, and you've been fearful about doing something like this, just do it. I mean, the only thing that you can do is learn from it and grow through it. And this is exactly what I intend to do. But it's been fun. It's been really fun.
Yeah, I will say to listeners that we had this as smooth as you could ever believe this time yesterday. Yeah, and I know that doesn't mean it was, Ken, it was smooth.
It was absolutely. It was definitely.
We've done this. This is done. Yeah. And what happens? But it's been brilliant.
It's good.
I loved it.
It's fun.
Thank
Steve,
you.
listen.
First,
Really appreciate you being on the show. It's the first show. It won't be the last. I'll be back next week at the same time with Make Health Your Habit podcast live. I've got a really exciting guest coming next week, and I just hope to grow and develop. I mean, my mission is simple. I really want to share the principles that I've benefited from. I really believe that that we don't have to take pharmaceutical drugs to be healthy. I really believe, and this is with the greatest respect to all the personal trainers out there, because I think they do a wonderful job. We don't have to spend hours and hours and hours in the gym to be able to lose weight. Yeah, I truly believe that the hardest work that people can do when it comes to keeping healthy is in the kitchen. But it's just understanding that. And this is what I want to share with people over the next coming weeks and months, and crossing the whole spectrum of physical and mental health. And we'll definitely have you back on the show again, Steve.
Thank you very much.
And we'll talk. So for everybody who is listening today, thank you for bearing with us. Give me your feedback. Just hit me. I mean, I could take it. I've got broad shoulders. I was doing my shoulders today, so I could have some broad shoulders. Give me some feedback. It's coming from the heart. I really want to serve and empower and educate, and that's what I want to continue to do. So for now, what I can say to you is, listen, make health your habit. It's the best habit you can do. Have a phenomenal week in whatever you do, and let's hope that the Boris Johnson doesn't announce any kind of too draconian lockdown restrictions today or tomorrow or over the coming weeks. But you be safe, you be well. Bye for now. Until the next time, remember, make health your habit. Thank you very much for listening. Bye for now. Bye, Steve. Thank you very much.